Attention passionate Baltimore Ravens fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Baltimore Ravens' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Baltimore Ravens fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Baltimore RAVENS fans. Let's get to the news in what might seem like just another week in the NFL. The buzz around Baltimore is reaching a fever pitch, and for good reason. Rumors are swirling about a blockbuster trade that could reshape not only the Ravens' defense but their entire championship outlook. The talk centers around Max Crosby, the relentless pass rusher from the Las Vegas Raiders, potentially donning purple and black by the time the trade deadline hits. Now, this isn't just idle speculation. It's gaining momentum from reputable sources like Adam Schefter, who signals that the Raiders, sitting at a disappointing 2-13, are considering moving Crosby. And why wouldn't they? With a cap hit of about $104 million free, and a team that's clearly in rebuild mode, especially after their struggles this season, the Raiders are eyeing future assets to jumpstart their rebuild. The idea is to send Crosby to Baltimore in exchange for a first-round pick in 2026 and a third-rounder in 2027. That's a hefty price, but one that could be justified if Crosby delivers the kind of impact that could elevate the Ravens' pass rush from good to elite. The Ravens, sitting at 7-8 and still in the thick of the playoff hunt despite some injuries on their defensive front, are desperate for that extra spark on the edge. With the absence of Odafe and the limited production from other pass rushers, adding a player like Crosby could be the catalyst they need to take their defense to a whole new level. Now, let's talk about Crosby himself. This guy is a force of nature. At just 28 years old, he's been one of the most consistent and disruptive pass rushers in the league. Throughout 2025, Crosby has been a nightmare for offensive lines, logging 15 starts, 73 tackles, 45 of those solo, and racking up 10 sacks, which puts him firmly in the top 10 in that category. Not only that, but he's also been a menace with 42 quarterback hits, ranking 4th in the league, and 19 pressures. The guy's motor just doesn't stop. His ability to generate pressure, even when doubled or triple-teamed, has earned him a PFF grade of 79. 7 overall, placing him in the upper echelon of edge rushers. His pass rush grade is 77.1, and his run defense is remarkable at 78.7, which is especially valuable in today's NFL where stopping the run is just as critical as rushing the passer. Crosby's career stats reinforce how consistent and impactful he's been. With 69, 5 sacks, and over 230 pressures since entering the league, he's been a perennial threat. His pressure numbers since 2019 rank him at the top of the league, and he's known for clutch performances, including 3 multi-sack games against the Kansas City Chiefs. His durability is another huge plus, minimal injuries with the occasional ankle tweak, but overall he's been remarkably resilient, averaging over 98 snaps per game, a testament to his stamina and conditioning. From the Raiders' perspective, this move makes sense. They're prioritizing cap space, using Crosby's potential trade to free up roughly $25 million, and focusing on developing young defensive linemen. They have an abundance of talented prospects, but they need to rebuild their defense, which is currently allowing an alarming 25.7 points per game, ranking 28th in the league. The Raiders are also heavily invested in extending Davante Adams with a $30 million cap hit, which complicates their financial flexibility. Moving Crosby could help them reset their cap sheet, acquire assets for a rebuild, and focus on developing their younger players like their defensive line prospects. The skepticism around the trade stems from concerns about losing a motor like Crosby, who can change the complexion of a game with his relentless pressure. Some analysts point out that the Raiders' defense has seen a decline in PFF grades from around 80 to the 70s, and they're giving up more points, an increase of about 5 per game, highlighting their need for a shakeup. For the Ravens, though, this is a golden opportunity. Adding Crosby would significantly bolster their pass rush, which has been inconsistent at best this season. Currently, Baltimore's defense is missing some key pieces, and the absence of Odafe and others has exposed their lack of edge presence. Crosby's addition could immediately impact their pass rush metrics, projecting an increase of around 12 sacks, 40 more QB hits, and a decrease in opponent EPA per play by about 0.3. That's a game changer. His presence would also help reduce the run game's efficiency, allowing fewer yards per carry, from around 4.4 to 3.8 yards, while increasing tackles for loss by roughly 25%. His ability to create mismatches against offensive lines, especially in Harbaugh's scheme, would elevate the entire defense's performance, pushing PFF grades into the 85-90 range and improving third down stops by about 15%. The impact of Crosby on the Ravens' defense would extend beyond just numbers. It would send a message to the AFC North. Baltimore isn't messing around, and they're willing to make bold moves to get back to the Super Bowl. The addition of a player like Crosby would not only boost their pass rush, but also energize the entire team, creating pressure on opposing quarterbacks and limiting big plays. Their secondary, featuring players like Marlon Humphrey and Marcus Williams, would benefit immensely from the increased pressure, forcing more turnovers and creating more opportunities for the offense. With Lamar Jackson's QBR sitting at 85.4 and the offensive line performing strongly, Stanley grading out at 82.1, Baltimore is set up to capitalize on this improved defense and make a serious playoff push. Looking at the broader picture, a trade for Crosby could also dramatically change the Ravens' Super Bowl odds. Currently, they're sitting around plus 1,100 to win SBLXI, but with Crosby on board, those odds could improve significantly, potentially dropping to around plus 600. The playoffs would become even more within reach, especially if Crosby helps the Ravens secure a top seed in the AFC. The betting market is already reacting. Initial odds of plus 3,000 have been adjusted to around plus 1,100, and a trade for Crosby could push that even further down to plus 800, solidifying Baltimore as serious contenders. On the flip side, the Raiders' odds would plummet, with some bookies listing them at plus 25000, reflecting their ongoing rebuild and the loss of a key player. In essence, this trade could be the pivot point for Baltimore's next big dynasty run. Crosby, with his relentless motor and ability to disrupt, mirrors the impact players like Watt had in their prime, turning struggling defenses into championship-caliber units. It's a visionary move that could see Baltimore return to the Super Bowl, echoing the glory days of the Jackson era. This isn't just about adding a talented player. It's about signaling their intent to compete at the highest level for years to come, and making a statement that Baltimore is back in the conversation as a powerhouse of the AFC. And now, Baltimore Ravens fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you think Crosby is the game changer they need? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinions matter so much, not only to us but to the future of Baltimore's championship aspirations. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates and in-depth analysis, so stay tuned for all the latest Baltimore Ravens news. This offseason could be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and we're here to bring you every detail, every rumor, and every decision that could shape the Ravens' future.